Alrighty, welcome back to Tokyo Attraction episode 2, where we're joined by Taishi Yamashita, um,
Yep.
who I know from Sydney and who's now located in Tokyo. So welcome to the show. Taishi, do you want to do a quick intro just so people can get to know you a little bit more before we get
Yeah.
into the conversation?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Matt, for inviting me. It's a great opportunity. My very first podcast.
Okay, that's good to
Yeah, so
know.
yeah, I am originally from Japan. I moved to Sydney, Australia, when I was 14 for study abroad. And yeah, and I went to uni, did finance and economics, joined the corporate world for about 2 years and a bit, and started this current company called Ant-AI. Yes, and that's where I met Matt. We yeah, in a Sydney startup ecosystem. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me. I guess we can get into the company information or anything related to that later on, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny though, because like I kind of left Tokyo in the startup scene, and you've now
Mm.
gone back there to join it. So I feel like we've
Yeah.
swapped places almost.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so we'll talk a bit more about, Australia and Japan, but
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, for those who don't know me, my name's Matt. I lived in Japan for 8.5 years, in Tokyo, studied the language, spent some time working in communications, and then ultimately, towards the end, with some VCs, founders, and startups. And that's where I work today across Japan and Australia, trying to do some connecting, but also working in tech, bringing developers to startups as well. Um, okay, so let's get into it. Maybe before we start, Taishi, what's one thing people perhaps um, might not know about you? Something, perhaps that you don't talk about much. Not a secret, but something, that's not so well known about you that people might not expect.
Right. Yeah, every time I talk, even my close friend, they get surprised on two things. So,
Yep.
um, I don't know. So if I meet in person, I know we've met in person several times. I'm quite like white as a skin. Like, I'm not really tan, right? Like, so people
Okay.
tend to think I am like an indoor person, like not interested into all those like sports and all that stuff. But I was a competitive swimmer for like 15 years. I was competing in national swimming competition and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something that people always get surprised, and every time they see my handwriting in Japanese, they get surprised because yeah, so I did like Japanese calligraphy for 7 years, and I have a license to teach. Really,
Wow.
really, really into like writing, like handwriting stuff. So that's like every time people find out, like they just don't really believe me until I actually write it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that is that still a hobby you
Yeah, I
pursue or
do. I
follow
do.
these
I
days?
use, yeah, I do both swimming and calligraphy as for me, it's kind of like a meditation. So every time I get
Cool.
kind of like really, I want to empty my mind or do all this stuff, I spend probably like 3, 4 hours doing calligraphy or swimming for like an hour just to refresh. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, there you go. If you're looking for an exercise to kind of empty your mind or, seek, what is it, like emotional stability or just to kind of zen, then maybe
Yeah.
calligraphy might be another way to do
Yeah,
that.
it's I highly recommend.
Okay.
It,
Cool.
it
And speak
smells good
to,
as well, you know.
right. The
Yeah.
ink or
Ink,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. All right, cool. So let's get into it. We'll talk first, maybe a little bit about Ant AI and where the idea came from, and yeah, what got you into startups as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so at Ant-AI, we are building what we call Universal AI Scribe. So compared to the existing AI Scribe that gives you a transcript of like, audio and give you a text summary, what we do is not only turns any like types of input like images, videos, audio into audience specific content, but also we learn how individual and teams communicate the best. So Yeah, not just audio, but we can do input of like image, video, audio, handwriting, and all that stuff simultaneously, and output in a way that audience needs. So starting from summary, you can do it for like design requirements, tech requirements, all just with one click, or you can just turn that into like podcast format to digest all those meeting in like 5 minutes digest, all that stuff. So that's what we do here at ANTI. Yeah, we really started working on this because this was really something that we needed internally. Because our team's really diverse, have really diverse background. I myself from Japan, but lived in Australia for 12 years, and my co-founder, he's from Hong Kong, but he lives in Australia as well. He's Australian. And some of our engineers come from India, but she also lives
Right.
in Australia. And some engineer from Japan recently moved to Australia. So everyone has a different way of communicating. Some of them prefer text. When it comes to like a meeting, they can't really share much of their opinion. But when I text him like personally, he shares whole like long document of his ideas and everything. Whereas another engineer, she literally pulls out her iPad during the meeting, try to explain what she means or like her idea using the
Right.
sketch. So what we're here really doing is because we work remotely, we wanted to provide the environment where each individual can thrive, and that and this was really something that we thought we can make that environment by having visibility to help people communicate the best. And yeah, so that's why we built this. And we talked to a lot of like knowledge workers out there, mainly like product people, and they literally had the same pain point, even though they use existing AI note taker. So
Hmm.
that's why we were like, no, this is something, we should focus on. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So this is something you started in Australia and kind of have continued in Japan. Is that right?
Yes.
Like,
So
yep.
yeah, this idea alone, we've only been working on for like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so maybe let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So what got you into startups initially? Like, how did you find, because you're in the corporate world for two and a
Yeah.
bit years. What got you into this whole idea of I want to become a founder or an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I guess it started when I was a kid. I grew up in a kind of like entrepreneurial family where
Okay.
my great grandparents and also like grandparents, also my father, they just all do business, and we have family business as well. So
Hmm.
I just naturally thought I would do something like without having any idea or without knowing
Yeah.
what the business is like.
Sure.
But then I started having all of these things that I want to do during uni, and I found at one company, which was just really small thing. But during the uni time, I started pitching all of those ideas to my dad, just to practice everything and see how he reacts and all that stuff. So that's
Hmm.
how I kind of like got into like naturally into like a startup world where just want to make something, make it happen, like yeah. So yeah, there's no like specific turning point for me.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm just curious in general. So every time I see something, even though it's outside of my expertise, I just get into the research and like to connect with people to hear more about it. So I guess yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's
That
yeah.
it's funny because that reminds me a little bit of I used to work. I did a little bit of work with Ogawa-san in Taimi, and he
Oh,
told me a little bit of his story. And his
yeah.
grandfather was also an entrepreneur, and I think
Yeah.
he was very much is like influenced by that too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can see some parallels there.
Yeah, yeah,
So hopefully you also become a unicorn founder as well,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, so, uh, moving along, I guess. So you kind of started your startup. Is it something that you initially started yourself, or did you have your co-founder from day one, or like how did this idea kind of come about?
Mhm. Yeah, so initially I was working on by myself and I built this like really crappy version of MVP or prototype. I don't know if
Yep.
if I could even say that was a prototype, but
Okay.
yeah, so with my limited coding skill, I just built something really simple. And that time I knew I needed someone who has technical background. So
Mm.
yeah, I worked on it by myself for like a month. But I knew that the speed isn't there and there's a limited resource and everything. So I went
Hmm.
to my LinkedIn. There's a so I'm from Sydney University, and then they have alumni-channel on LinkedIn. So I went through the alumni members and searched, did the filtering by computer science. And then like I approached like probably like 10 people who graduated at least master or PhD in computer science related to AI. And he was the first
Yep.
one who got back to me and I pitched to him. Um, and then he was in Brisbane that time, so I flew into
Okay.
Brisbane next
Wow.
day. We had one beer. With just one beer, we talked for like 6 hours at the pub.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so from that day, we were like, oh, we shared the same vision. He had a lot of things that I didn't have, and
Yep.
yeah, it was really clear that what we both bring to the table. So like, yeah, so that's how we kind of like met, and yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty cool story because it's unique. Like when people talk about finding a tech co-founder, it's like, oh, it's someone in my network for a while, or I found them on YC Startup School, or
Right.
like I posted a job on LinkedIn. Like, yeah, so checking back for alumni, that's probably a good approach if you're connected to a
Mm,
university in some way. Yeah, okay. I love
yeah.
that advice. Because I don't know if you've met other people, because when I meet people every week, I would say, who are looking for a
Mhm.
tech co-founder, both Japan and Australia, and it's a big pain point, I think.
Yeah, I heard. So Japan, I think, is a bit different. What I heard was that I met someone from Tokyo University. He graduated PhD from
Hmm.
Tokyo University, but he was like, apparently there's no like official alumni channel where
Ah,
Tokyo
okay.
like university graduate can like collaborate or look for other
Right.
talents. Whereas I think Australia, they have like relatively bigger channel in terms of like those connection, especially
Yep.
when most of them are active on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So that really helped me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Maybe so if you're in Australia, these might be some good um, strategies to help you
yeah.
find your tech co-founder. So you found your tech co-founder, you had a beer, you talked for 6 hours, and so how long have you kind of worked together?
Now it's a bit over 1 year. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. And I guess there's been a few pivots between then
yeah,
and now.
yeah. And I think a big pivot we had was, I think in total there's like four pivot.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing we had in common was that everything we built, so we built everything every time, and we tested out with like a small amount of user. But everything that the only thing we had in common throughout all those people was that everything we built was purely the thing that we really needed that time.
Hmm.
Yeah, but then we started seeing all those like gaps, and then yeah, we started like pivoting time and yeah,
So the current product now, because you did pitch at our last pitch event, you've
yeah.
mentioned you've got 10, is it paying users on the
Yeah, yeah.
platform?
They
Cool.
paid in
That's awesome.
advance. We haven't
Wow.
launched yet, but they paid in
Yep.
advance. We've got about 100 waiting list. Yeah, at the moment. So it's we're having a good momentum just after like 3 4 weeks of development.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you have a kind of, should I say, hypothetical launch day, or are you still working that out?
Yeah, yeah. We're aiming for the end of this month, so we
Hmm.
recently raised angel round, so that
Oh,
like
nice.
really feels us to onboard these customers as well as a bit of like corporate case studies etc.
Yep.
So we're aiming for that in the next this coming month, and also yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about the raise. Like we don't have to talk about who, but let's talk about, how easy or hard was it? How
Yeah,
much time did it take? How did you make the connection?
yeah. So fundraising for us was really hard.
Right.
So um, I think we pitched to VCs with every single idea.
Hmm.
Um, but every time we pitched it, the product wasn't mature enough, and also all the rejection we had was like it's too early. Like we literally didn't have any number. We barely had like a working prototype or even less. So that was the common feedback that we were getting, and then also like so that took us a really long time. For about like half a year we couldn't really get anything.
Hmm.
Um, but then right after we pivot to this current product, all of a sudden, a week after we moved to Japan, we got this angel round secured. And a week after that, we secured angel round. Now all of a sudden we in talks with like 20 25 BCs across Asia. So I'm
Okay.
like even like traction itself isn't too different to what we currently had, what we
Hmm.
previously had, like with other products.
Hmm.
But it's just that um, I think the timing is a bit different as well. Also the way we pitch is also a bit different. We're a bit more
Hmm.
confident as well. But also the environment. Me being Japanese and like having those Japanese background, but with like a global experience and global team really just we were able to like leverage this like current team and everything in Japanese market. So the environment for us was really important, and we it took us time to actually find out the environment really matters. Like where
Yep.
we're building is really important. Yeah.
I guess the other advantage you have is having kind of key members in two
Yeah.
markets would also help you from a distribution point of view because you can test in Japan, you can test in Australia,
Yep.
and so you kind of have the advantage of reach in both of
Hmm.
those markets as well.
Yep.
So I can see how investors might think that's, like a best of both worlds almost, if you want to
Yeah.
say that.
I think especially now in Japan, all of those money are coming back to Japan due to this government startup 5 year initiative where they try to
Yep.
make like 10 unicorns in the next 10 years or so.
Hmm.
So that's why they actively investing also, like amount of the grants, number of grants they have, like condition for like a debt finance for like startup friendly condition. Just,
Yep.
everything is really startup friendly. So, I think it's really the right timing for us, for any
Yep.
startup who's looking to kind of see Asian market.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about your co-founder. So,
mm.
you guys met via the alumni-channel. You instantly connected, it seems like. So, working together for a year, how has that been? Has it been smooth? Has it been pretty
Right.
hard?
Like yeah, in terms of collaboration, we get along really well.
Hmm.
I think one of the key reason is that the way we think is just really different. We have the same vision, but the way we look at things is really different. So I am a
Mm.
business founder, so I come up with all of those ideas and the features, functionality, all that stuff without even thinking of if it's technically feasible or not. But I can do that
Right.
because I am confident that my, co-founder can make it happen.
Sure.
And all the time he brings this technical perspective, whether that's like feasible or not. And he doesn't nothing like he never said it's not feasible. He always said that's
Hmm.
feasible. But then the way he thinks is like, oh, if you wanted to do that, there's more efficient way because we can leverage this one, and all that stuff. So it's really working like a puzzle. So that's why like I have because I really kind of trust in his skill and like those knowledge and what he brings to the table. So then I have the freedom to kind of like just throw away everything that I have in my mind, and but we do have all those like crazy long brainstorming session, even remotely. We have like 4 or 5 hours meeting sometimes, just two of us.
Wow.
Or when we meet in person, we usually set one whole day to kind of like just do brainstorming all together. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So what? Yeah, because we share same vision, but then also the way we look at a thing is just really like pretty much opposite. So it's like yeah, he like kind of like directs me to the direction where he sees as well, and then I can like kind of show him around how I see it as well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you kind of bounce off each other and refine it to a point where you can agree.
yeah,
Would
yeah,
that kind of make sense?
yeah,
It's interesting. You say you do like online meetings for 5, 6 hours too. I mean, if you were face to face working, like that would work. But yeah, if you're working in different time zones or in different countries,
yeah,
then that also works. But I guess you need to take some breaks here and there as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah. So this is really the one of the main reason we wanted to build this current product,
Mm.
because during that 6 hours meeting, we do have like a sketch session, like we draw out all of stuff online, like with the canvas and all that stuff. So, but then
Hmm.
after that, we have to share all of those stories and ideas to our engineering team as well.
Yep.
So that was just taking another few hours. So that's why, yeah, that's why we wanted this product. But yeah, I think when we meet in person, it's really different. Yeah, it's much more efficient.
Yeah, of course.
It's yeah, and the idea that we come up with just be more kind of yeah, it's just everything. It just works much better. But yeah,
Hmm. Well, I guess an hour podcast is nothing for you if you can do a 5, 6 hour online meeting, like a
yeah,
walk in the park. So let's move on. We'll talk a bit more about kind of Australia. You've been in Japan now, what, like a month and a
a month.
half or two
Yeah,
months? Yeah,
it's
month. Okay,
exactly 1 month. Yeah.
okay. And so, how do you find the difference, like going back home now, and like I guess you'll be there for a while. How do you find the difference between
Um,
Australia and Japan?
like in terms of startup world or
Yeah.
yeah. I think I well, to be honest, I was expecting Japanese startup to be much more formal. Just because
Hmm.
I only know Japanese like business culture, not the startup culture.
Mm.
So I was expecting it to be much more formal of like, Asian culture, like Japanese culture way. But turns out it's quite similar. I would say it's quite similar to how like Sydney or Australia startup ecosystem works. Like it's quite casual. They tend to like catch up for coffee. Um,
Mm.
the community there is growing so fast as well. Yeah, but and I see a lot of international founders in Japan as well. So
Hmm.
that's been really helpful for me. So all of those founders that I met, most of them, for the past 1 month, are from like outside of Japan.
Yep.
So they bring a lot of different perspective. They share a lot of different market expertise as well. So
Mm.
in terms of that, I think the Japanese startup ecosystem is really, really good. It's something that completely opposite of what I was imagining.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite energetic, and very active. So yeah,
Yeah, and very global.
it's very global.
And
Yeah,
that's not to say Australia isn't global, but
Oh
Australia
yeah,
kind of has people that have been living there for a while. But I feel
yeah,
like Japan still has people that are kind of fresh from, like they've only stayed in Japan for, a few years or a year
mm,
even. And so because Japan's kind of this
yeah,
late stage growth, it's only kind of a new, immature, very, very active ecosystem. But yeah, so it's
mm,
interesting, like in the dynamic. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what about so when you were building in Australia, how do you find what do you find are the key differences, say, between, like, I don't know, networking in the startup world
Right.
in Japan versus Australia?
Um. Yeah. So Australia, what mainly I was networking it when I was in Australia. So main network that uh they usually came from the accelerators that I did. So we did accelerator at University of Sydney and then also
Hmm.
Blackbird. So
Hmm.
that was a main network or connection that we had. But then I, I don't know. So because we also in a different accelerator right now in Japan that is like run by government and also the Stanford University. So it's a really, really different dynamic, and the
Mm.
connection they have, the way they network is really, I think, it's different. So in Japan, a lot more in-person things happening. Whereas when I connect to all those founders in Australia, usually it'll be like, oh, let's like jump on a quick call to
Mm.
introduce, to begin with. That was for me at least was a common case in Australia, whereas in here, usually it's like, oh, you're based in Tokyo, let's just meet in the office or let's just grab a coffee and all that
Right.
stuff. So I guess it really depends on people, but at least for me, that's the difference. And I usually prefer doing it in person because just because it's more like I can show a bit more of
Yep.
myself. Yeah, I don't have to do all this guesswork. For me, like knowing how tall they are and all those stuff. Like it really changes everything, right? Like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people like I was expecting them to be like kind of like same height as me, but then turns out they're like huge sometimes, and then that just changes every, all impression and stuff. So I just
Yeah.
like to do it in person. So, yeah, but um, yeah, I think that's a key difference that I'm personally seeing. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah,
Mm.
in Australia, like it's not, even in people in Sydney, I'm meeting online because, they online is the better for them, for
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
Um, when it's Japan, quite often it's wait until I come back next time so we can meet face to face for coffee or meet,
Yeah.
like, it makes much more sense, or do an event, catch them at the event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah, it's interesting dynamic, but I guess one thing that I do miss about Japan, maybe, and maybe it's just because it's kind of new, is just the energy. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like Australia has lost that, or I don't want to say it never had it, but I feel like there's more energy in Japan, and especially Tokyo. Like,
Right.
there's a lot of young blood, there's a lot of, different pitch events. And of course,
Hmm.
Sydney has that and Australia has that. But I don't know. It's just you kind of go to a Thursday gathering in Venture Cafe
Hmm.
Tokyo, or you go to something like a Sushi Tech, and it's crazy kind of atmosphere. Like,
Yeah.
so many people doing so many different things, and it's always very global. Yeah, so it's kind of yeah, it's very, what's the word? It Addictive kind of
Mm.
experience, almost, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see. I feel like, yeah, I agree. Like the amount of events they have is just crazy.
It's yeah,
Yeah, there was
insane.
one of them BC that we're still talking. They're really huge fun, but they do this like a pitch roulette kind of event every month with
Wow.
like 20 startups or something, and
Okay.
all of those things, like, there's another like AI conference that's happening like every month by
Hmm.
JETRO. So it's just crazy where how many events that are happening around like across Japan, like, in the startup ecosystem. It's just yeah, so I think I really like that energy, and I really like how there's just whole lot of like, opportunities just everywhere in Japan as well. Um
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us a bit more about the current accelerator that you're on. Maybe, what attracted you to it? How did you get in? And maybe some of the benefits for you guys.
Yeah, so we currently in the accelerator called GSAP, which is short
Hmm.
stand for Global Startup Accelerator Program. So it's very
Yep.
simple. It's a,
Right.
it's run by JETRO, the Japanese
Okay.
government institution, and the collaboration with the Stanford University. So we in this AI course, so specifically for
Mm.
AI. Um, I actually didn't know about this program, but someone in my LinkedIn network liked the post, and I came across that application, and that was the last day of their deadline. So I
Oh,
just,
wow.
yeah, quickly applied. And I didn't know that they require company to be registered in Japan. When that time I didn't have any company registered in Japan, but I just kind of like put the random date there. Like, then yeah, the process was that we had two interviews.
Mhm.
Um, People from Stanford. So StartX is the Stanford accelerator program where they had like a company like OpenSea, DoorDash, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So people from there were interviewing us about like pretty much just about a product traction, similar to how usual like maybe investor ask all
Right.
those questions. And then we had two interviews there, and then they announced that we got selected. The program itself runs until the end of month, until the end of year this year. So it's
Yep.
for about like half a year.
Mm.
You mainly online. We just had in-person boot camp, late August in Tokyo, and we're gonna have San Francisco immersion program in late October. So we'll be
Wow.
joining the actual Stanford program, collaborating with the Stanford cohort, and then also joining the TechCrunch, Tech Disrupt, the
Oh,
conference.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's something that we really look forward to. Yeah, so the program is really, I we think it's really really good. I believe it's one of the best accelerator that we've joined so far.
Hmm.
Um, so they have, because it's collaboration with like, Japan and US, they have like really wide network. So for example, if I were to, so most of those VCs that we're talking to is through
Mm.
introduction from those people in the program.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So for example, if you're like if you need some lawyer to talk about maybe where you should like register your company at this point and all that stuff. So
Yep.
they instantly connect you with a right lawyer, and they give you like a free consultation for up to like I forgot, like maybe like 50 hours per year. And that
Mm,
just
I
goes
see.
lifetime, not just during the program.
Oh, wow.
So it's yeah. So if you want lawyer, accountant, or some of the founders, they instantly connect you to the right person, and and it's not from Japan as well. It's not only from Japan, but if you looking to expand into US, they connect to the right person in US or Asia, wherever they have the office or network.
Hmm.
So it's really really good. Yeah, the experience has been really great so far. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sounds pretty intensive. Is that right? Like, how many hour, like, what's the program schedule
Oh yeah,
like?
so just that during the boot camp we had like a week of in-person program like throughout the day, and
Hmm.
but other than that we have one or two session every week online.
Okay.
Usually that's like inviting guest speaker from Stanford, like statics alumni. So they invite
Yes.
people from like founder who used to be like a head of Google something and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
some of the big names you'll be able to chat and you'll be able to hear their story and you have these like one-on-one session with them as well. So the time is quite flexible. It's only once in a week, once or twice a week.
Right.
Um, yeah, but you can always ask for any kind of like introduction or advice just by shooting the message. So yeah, it's not too intense. It won't like disrupt your work at all. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're building something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. So, you'll be going to the US next month.
Yeah.
And how long do you say that is? Just a week or two, or is it
2 weeks.
two
Two
weeks?
weeks.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you get to pitch over there as well, or
Yeah. We
what's
have
the
a demo
plan?
day. We have a demo day at the
Nice.
end. First few days, first 1 week is probably going to be like a networking event with the alumni and also cohort in San Francisco. And then we
Hmm.
have TechCrunch event for 3 days, and then after that we have a demo day. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Oh, it sounds like you'll be very much enjoying yourself when you're over in
yeah,
the US.
yeah.
Cool. All right, and let's talk now kind of like what's next for Ant AI. So you're obviously on this kind of fundraising journey. I guess it's the
Mhm.
next round. So what's the plan? Who are you trying to connect with? And how will that help you for the next
Mhm.
stage?
Yeah, yeah. So right now we still doing a pre-seed round.
Hmm.
We really look into. So our very first priority is to launch, and onboard these customers and potential users that are waiting.
Yep.
And then after that, our first focus is Asian market, the English speaking Asian market.
Hmm.
So that'll be our first priority, and that's the VCs that we're talking to, like all those people who investors or advisor who have extensive networks or expertise across Asia and
Yep.
their, different cultures and all that stuff. Um, and yeah, so we really just actively looking to connect with pretty much anyone who's in the space, because all of those feedbacks are really valuable for us at the moment. Right now, we main people in terms of user that we're connecting recently is the product people. So
Hmm.
that because that's where we focus to begin with. So we're working with them on a daily basis, iterating on design and workflow. So yeah, any kind of like people who's struggling with like who's not satisfied with the current existing air not tech we're really happy to and open to hear what's the struggle or like what they wish they had yeah, so
Okay.
that's where we're currently at. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, what to be announced soon, or watch this space. You may have some cool funding announcements shortly, maybe,
Yeah,
or we'll
yeah, so
see.
we're not rushing too much for pre-seed round,
Yep.
but yeah, because we just want to find the right partner. We actually, I think I mentioned this during the pitch. We actually turned
Mm.
down one of the investments. I
Yep.
didn't
Yep.
I didn't expect the time like this would come like a month back, like where we were like But
Sure.
yeah, so hopefully soon, at least by the end of this year,
Yep.
we'll be able to announce a good news
Good
to start
news.
with. Yeah.
But so you raise a good point there as well, because when it comes to founder investor alignment, like I think that's so critical in if you're expecting to work closely together, just like your technical co-founder, your investor
Mm.
also needs to kind of be supportive or receptive or complementary. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, you don't have to tell me why you rejected the investor, but maybe
Mhm.
talk to me more about, why is investor alignment so important from your point of view?
Yeah, so I think at this time, at this stage, all of these valuation are really subjective as well, like from our side as well. So
Hmm.
and then there's a limited number that we can show, and there's a limited data that they have visibility into.
Mm.
So pretty much all the conversation is more of like like a as a person, right? Like, what they look at for, do they really believe in the team, or do they really believe what we're building or what we're trying to solve? Do they resonate
Hmm.
with the problem? Would they use it, or even if they use it, that doesn't mean that they would invest as well. So I guess for us, that's because at the moment that's the only thing that we can, like, show, or we can discuss. Any future thing is just assumption, and that's just a plan. And
Sure.
I'm sure everything will change in a month or two. So um if we can't even align with the fundamental part, I don't think we can, like, go beyond that, or discuss further. So
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, and I guess everyone has a different role, and we believe what we bring to the table is really big as well. Like, not just the product, but also like our current connection, talent pool that we already have, and all that
Hmm.
stuff. And if what they bring to the table is something that we really need at the moment, like, it doesn't really it doesn't really make sense for us to give up all those equity as well. So I think um, if they focus too much on these valuation or equity, I don't think we can, like, get along in the long term, because
Yep.
if they really do believe, or if they really like it, or I guess that valuation or the equity amount shouldn't be too much of the problem. Yeah, so one of the investor texted me saying, like, he never regret not investing into the company that because of the product, but he
Hmm.
regret all those company he didn't invest because of the valuation was too high.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was quite interesting. Like, he's an early stage venture capitalist, and it was like,
Yep.
valuation is just a tiny thing at the beginning, and he regrets all those investment that he passed just because of the valuation wasn't right that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I guess, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. But like I said, yeah, like you said, it's good to focus on someone that believes in the team and the product and not necessarily just on the financials or the valuation or the
Mhm.
equity stake. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, cool. Oh, well, so I guess let's try just one more question. What have you found kind of difficult in raising and what
Mhm.
has been easier than you thought, let's say?
Oh, well, nothing was easier. Like,
The
well,
angel
and
round, you mean?
yes,
Or
yeah. So difficult part. There's too many, but um, what I thought Angel and Pre-Seed was that, like, they don't really look for revenue or ARR.
mm,
But the
hmm.
reality is that because all of these, AI platforms out there, all of, recent startups, they even have like 1 million ARR at, like, seed stage or pre-seed stage. So
Hmm.
that has been the investor expectation as well. Um, I guess
Mm,
that's globally, maybe. So that was really difficult for us, especially when we had, like, a really limited traction with the limited resources. But also they look at our growth, the speed we can execute and all that stuff. So
yep.
that was the most difficult part to really just show, and to I guess in terms of the storytelling, like, instead of
Hmm.
saying, like, oh, we don't have revenue, but saying, like, oh, we have this amount of people who are waiting, so that's why we need money, and this is the
Mm,
amount of money we can potentially generate by onboarding these people like immediately. So
Yep.
to get to that point, we took a bit of time. Something that was easier than I thought. Oh yeah. None of the investor asked how we would allocate those fund.
Oh, that's
So that
interesting.
was very interesting point. It was the same in Australia and Japan as well.
Right,
So,
right.
and I asked why. Like, I asked why didn't they didn't ask. So the, the main reason was that because it's just a pre-seed or seed level, the amount of money is tiny for them, but it's big for us.
Right.
And they know what we're gonna use it for. It's just gonna be like hiring, product development,
Yeah.
marketing, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing really unique about it. So they don't even need to ask, and that's just
Mm.
so that's why like I was preparing of like those like an economic model and all that stuff, but they just none of them asked. So I
Okay.
guess that was a bit easier. I guess
Yep.
that's only because we really early stage and everything is just assumption prediction. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So, for anyone that's currently raising in Japan now,
Mhm.
do you have any advice that you can share with,
Oh,
international founders or Japanese
yeah.
founders?
One thing they really have to be aware is that the main channel they use is Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought everyone was on LinkedIn. So main channel that I was using in overseas was LinkedIn. But
Yep.
in here, all those VC people, they use Facebook.
Yep.
So they use Facebook as LinkedIn. So
Mm.
all those messages and posts they posted on Facebook, because all those message are encrypted as well. So
Right.
yeah, so that's something that I was really surprised, and then I had to kind of check my Facebook profile if that's like appropriate or not. So I guess that's something to be aware. Because for us, right, like in Australia or in any other country, like Western country, I guess connecting on Facebook is just really something personal.
Yeah.
Um, so
Or you just don't do it anymore
yeah, you just don't do it,
as well.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I was quite surprised, but
Mm.
that's something to keep in mind. But
Yep.
also, um, yeah. Well, I think in the startup ecosystem, the culture is still really similar. So I don't think because of Japan, you have to be really really formal and stuff. Like it wasn't something like that. So it's quite
Yep.
casual. They really open to anything. Um, I think Japan is relatively much more open in terms of investors that like they just meet. Like they open to meet. Even though maybe the scope of their stage is you know the stage that you're currently at is out of their scope. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they really have like a really good kind of connections as well. So yeah, I think that was something that I got kind of surprised and yeah.
It's good. Um, and so for anyone interested in Ant AI or anyone interested in connecting, especially to talk about the GSAP, are
Oh
you
yeah.
open to connect
Yeah,
on
of course.
LinkedIn or
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah. I think GSAP happens every once in every year.
once
Um
every year? Okay.
yeah, so and
Around this
then
time, is it? Like
around this
August,
time.
July?
And but
Yeah.
the deadline is around like June or May. So you have to be aware
Okay.
of that. There's like a few
Yeah.
different courses. There's AI course,
Mm-hmm.
deep tech, sustainability, government tech, and all that. I think there's
Okay.
four or
So they've got a
five
few different
different courses.
streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, cool. One thing I have noticed about LinkedIn though is more and more even domestic, let's say, startups in Japan are actually creating a company page. So I think, and more Japanese founders are on LinkedIn, but
Yeah.
definitely Facebook for Japanese business scene has
Hmm.
always been, much more, let's say, prolific or much more prominent than
Hmm.
LinkedIn. Because I think they say only like 4% of the Japanese population use
Oh,
LinkedIn, so
okay.
it's still very small. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to know Japanese are investors are on Facebook, not LinkedIn. So there's some good advice for you. All right. We can probably wrap up there. So thanks
Mhm.
for your time. If you're
Thank you
looking
very much.
to connect with Taishi, we'll put his details in the description of this episode. If you want to connect with me or Innovators Campus, we'll put some of the details in the description as well. Thanks for your time, Taishi.
Yep.
Appreciate everything you shared, and I hope to hear some really good news
Yep.
towards the end of the year as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Okay, no worries.
All right.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.